Well, hello there, stranger. Welcome to my video. So if you're either a new viewer of mine or have been living under a rock when it comes to my channel, well, oh boy, I have some news because I have finally reached 5k subs. Yippee! Seriously, y'all, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, this is a minor achievement in the grand scheme of things, but an achievement nonetheless. And as a reward for all this, here is a basic Q&A special kind of thing. Now, to be quite honest, I didn't want to make a Q&A, at least not yet, but I couldn't think of anything else to make for reaching 5k, so yeah. Don't really know what else to say here, so here is my semi-non-scripted Q&A special thing with all the questions being provided by you. Yeah. Anyways, let's get started. Who's that character you have that represents you? Are they like an OC or something? Technically, yes, this character is an OC, but not the usual kind that you'd see from time to time. It's just used to represent me, and that's it, right? Like, it has a history of changes, right? So, like, you might remember my Godako recolor, which, yeah, certainly was a decision that I made. But I mean, I wasn't really confident in my drawing skills or art skills, so like wasn't really confident that I would make a character like this one, which I'm kind of proud that I made it like that. So yeah, that's nice. What's your favorite ID Uptie art? Can be 1 or 3. And Ego, as well as your least favorite art. For Uptie 1, I'll go with Contempt Ryoshu Upties 1. The amount of aura that this art just spews is immaculate. Like the big eye that it has, the glare of contempt that Ryoshu's given us. There is a lot of things about this art that I love a lot. As for Uptie 3, Magical Girl Dawn, I guess. It's cute. I like the cheeky smile that she does. Yeah, I like it. And as for Ego, Dimension Shredder Yisan. It's very edgy, it's very dark, and I like the contrast of Yisan's cape looking like a wing, like a torn wing. It's very fitting and cool looking. Now to my least favorites, my least favorite Uptie 1 art, W Core Faust. W Core Faust is boring as shit. It practically just does nothing. Though then again, it is an OG identity, so like, not much to say on there. Now, I do not like Middle Sinclair's Uptie 3. This should have been an Uptie 1. Like, this fucking Uptie 3 is so basic compared to the Uptie 1. The Uptie 1 feels like an Uptie 3, but it isn't for some particular reason. Like, it's not good. Trust me, it's not good. It's an Uptie 1. As for Ego, my least favorite Ego, I guess Fish and Care Nissan. It doesn't have a lot going on, similar to W Core Faust, but a lot of that is just dull, and that's it. It doesn't have much going on, and it's dull. Out of the 9 associations, which is your favorite? You know, like She, Devyat, Hana, etc. I can't really tell what is my favorite, because that's a usual problem that I do have when it comes to answering questions like these, like what's your favorite blank? When I have a bunch of favorites, I can't decide which is my favorite, you know? So I guess I'll say my top 3 in no particular order would be the 7 Association, the She Association, and I also like the Ufi. I really wish that the Ufi gets more recognition as time goes on, beyond just what we know of Ufi Heathcliff and the Ufi frauds that were part of the ring. So yeah, if you had to be roommates with 1 Aleph and 2 WoW abnormalities for at least 2 years, which one would you choose and why? So I need to live with them for 2 years, right? So to make sure that my experience isn't too uncomfortable, for the WoWs I'll probably go for Backward Clock and Yan. These 2 WoWs are very easy decisions because out of all the WoW abnormalities that exist in the Project Mu universe, these 2 are definitely one of the more safer options, especially considering that they are tool abnormalities, so you can just do nothing with them and nothing will happen, right? But the Alephs are a little bit complicated because all of them are in one way or another dangerous. I'd probably go with either Mountain of Smiling Bodies, Melting Love, or Nothing There. Nothing There because I can treat it like a dog, right? But it's just very fleshy and can transform and can just mimic other people, right? So like, as long as it doesn't get violent at me, then I guess that's fine. Melting Love is also an interesting enough decision. Like, as long as I don't get infected, I guess we'll be fine enough ish, and also because she's hot. And as for Mountain, like Mountain is probably the safest option out of them all, because like as long as there are no corpses, you'll just be standing there doing nothing. The only thing that I guess I would be against on choosing Mountain is the smell. Like it's just a bunch of corpses stacked together to become like this creature thing, right? So the smell of it would be abhorrent as all hell. So I don't know, it's definitely one of these three, at least, depending on certain conditions that we can look at. Favorite Limbus source book? Okay, well, I've only read 2 of the source books, not to completion, however, I will say, because I didn't have the time to do that. And those 2 are Hellscreen and Goat's Faust. Now, out of these 2, I liked Hellscreen a lot more than Goat's Faust. I remember Goat's Faust being a tad bit confusing to read at first, but other than those 2, I'd also be willing to read Wuthering Heights and also The Stranger. I've heard so many good things about The Stranger, but I just need to figure out when exactly would be a good time to read these 2. Favorite status, ID, and ego. Also, favorite fruit would be a nice question to answer as well. Well, I guess for favorite fruits, I'll probably go for grapes. They're nice, they're sweet, I like them. But favorite status, I'll probably go for Sinking. Mostly because I like making my enemies be depressed as all hell while I bash them with this giant sword. For ID, I'll just be boring and say Zilu Faust. She's OP, she's cool, and her ID story is also pretty cool to read. Ego, I'll say either. I love a lot of egos, but if I were to choose that I particularly like more, would probably be Crushbound Past or Love and Hatred Dawn. I like these 2 a lot. Do you plan on deep diving / analyzing all the ID stories at some point? Well, probably not all of the identities, considering that, like, if you think back on the very, very early IDs that we had at this point, the ID stories were very lacking, right? So like, to bring back an example, G. Core Gregor, like you can just read his entire story in like less than a minute and you'd be done. But recently we have been getting a lot more interesting ID stories, right? So like, I'll definitely cover more identities when I can. Definitely not all of them, but a good majority of them, especially the more recent ones, eventually. Also Heathcliff ID when? Heathcliff ID after She Faust, just whenever after She Faust, trust me on that one. Pinky Son or Thumb Daughter? I'll probably go for Pinky Son. It would be much more cooler than whatever Thumb Daughter could have, right? He'd be so much more overpowered and much more interesting than a submissive and loyal daughter that does whatever I want because, well, that's how hierarchy works. But also the fact that she can just be a random grunt and die due to plot, I guess, and not even just a normal capo, so yeah. Nothing too shabby, just a quick question. Are you ever going to make theory videos on Sneak's Project Moon releases like the one we have for possibly the new Ishmael ID, or Sneaks of Canto 9 in the future? I almost had a stroke reading that. For the first part, I'm assuming what you're asking is about like making videos on the trailers and teasers. To that I say no. I don't think I'll be doing that. I have other video ideas that I'm more interested in doing than reactions, right? At least that's what I'm assuming you're asking, right? But I do get the second part of the question, that being Canto 9, which to that I will say probably not. I'm not going to do a video on Canto 9 specifically, but I'm willing to make a video on Ryoshu and my theories on Ryoshu as a character and all that. Similar to what I did with Hanlo when Canto 8 was coming out. Probably around when her seasonal ego is teased. Maybe. I don't know. I'll figure out when that will be. What are your hopes for Canto 9? My general hope for Canto 9 and practically every Canto in general is that it's good, just like the previous Cantos, right? Like we got back to back to back, peak after peak after peak, right? And I just don't want that back to back thing to stop, or at least slow down, right? Especially Canto 9, especially because like his need to get Canto 9 up by December and losing a second intervallo is definitely a decision to make, but I'm pretty confident that Canto 9 will be just as good, if not better, in Canto 8 or Canto 7 or whatever other good cantos out there, right? To get attached to Nuggets and Lobotomy Corporation. Nah, I'm past that kind of phase. No, I don't care if my Nuggets die anymore. Least favorite abnormality. I do not like a good majority of tool abnormalities, which I made a whole video about that. You can go check it out whenever you wish. But if we really want an actual abnormality, then I'm sorry, but it's fucking Glupo. I am sorry, but I do not like Blubbering Toad at all. Like, I love the concept and themes that it has, but like, why give it that to a fucking frog of all things? I don't really care that a frog has themes of depression and sadness. Right? Like, I don't like Glupo. I'm sorry. Favorite Arknights operator, event, and would you recommend it to Limbus players? My favorite Arknights operator would probably be Texas. She is the main reason why I started Arknights in the first place, and she looks sick, she is sick. I do like other characters like W, and a couple other examples that I'll probably throw up on the screen. But Texas is really the character that got me interested in Arknights. As for favorite event, I'm gonna be boring and say Babel. It's obvious. Yeah. Now, would I recommend it to Limbus players? I'd recommend them to try it at least, right? Especially considering the fact that we are now at this point in time where we are having back to back very good fucking characters that are very fucking overpowered. But I can recommend them to try the game, but I can't really recommend them to continue playing it. At least that's my thought process. Continuing the Arknights trend, did I enjoy the collab story and what aspect did I like the most? I really enjoyed the collab story. One of the few things that I did enjoy in that collab story was the character interactions between the sinners and the operators, right? Although I kind of wish I would get to see more of it. Like, I wish we could have gotten more of Scotty, but to be honest, on the character, yeah, it makes sense that she doesn't really appear much at all. But another thing that I really liked about the event story was Myers. I loved Myers as a character. I really wish we could have gotten more of Myers, but because it's a collab, we can't, and I'm sad because of that. And finishing off the Arknights questions, do you think the collab would eventually happen on Arknights' side? I hope that will happen. Don't think that's happening though. At least not now, right? It can probably happen like a few years down the line, but like right now, I don't really see that happen at all. Who would win? 1,000 giant Cassettis or 1 dwarf lay hen? 1,000 giant Cassettis easily beats a dwarf lay hen. There's no doubt about that. And if you disagree, you're a fool. Because you don't get that 1,000 giant vampires easily beat 1 tiny man with a matchstick. Who is your favorite character in each PM game and why? I'm bringing back the problem of me liking things, having a couple favorites, and I can't decide on which is my most favorite out of my favorites. You know what? I'll just say Geber in LobCorp because she's hot, Xiao in LobCorp because she's hot, and Dulcinea in Limbus because she's hot. Yeah, there you go. Those are my answers there. Would you rather have unlimited bacon but no video games, or unlimited video games but no video games? Ah, a classic question. Because the way that it's worded, I'll probably go for unlimited bacon, right? Like, I've seen this question pop up a few times, and it never had the specification of video games. It's just like unlimited bacon but no games, or unlimited games but no games, right? At least from what I remember. So like, if you ask this question without the video part of games, then I can make it contextually make sense. Like, I would have unlimited video games, but no board games. You see what I mean? You see where I'm going with that? Yeah, but the way how your question words it, it's unlimited bacon, I'll be honest. At least I have an infinite food supply, so that's great. What is your favorite team comp that isn't meta stuff? And is there a certain archetype of team you'd want to see at some point? The team comp that I like a lot that isn't meta is literally just the aura farm type shit team. I just choose whichever identities that have the most kind of aura in my opinion and put them in a team. There is certainly no synergy whatsoever in there, but it's very fun. Now, as for the type of archetype of team that I'd like to see at some point, I haven't really thought of this. So like, if it's a little bit broad or a little bit confusing what I'm trying to say, then forgive me on that. Imagine there are 2 types of identities in this team, right? There is one identity, or at least a couple identities, that would benefit either the whole team or a certain identity when they actually die, right? And another identity that benefits from other identities dying, that gains buffs or something like that. So like, think of Lord Hanlu if he got the bolus buffs by having the Heishos die instead of using the assist attack. Something like that, essentially. Is Firefist Gregor better for the Arcanite's ego than Priest Gregor? I personally like using Firefist Gregor a lot more than Priest, but I think technically Priest would be better because of aggro. But if you don't have Priest Gregor, then Zwei Gregor also works, I guess. Yeah. Can I be in the video? Sure. I guess you can be in the bottom left of the video. Here you go. Any other games you playing? I have been playing a bunch of games recently. I've been playing both Hollow Knights, right? Hollow Knight 1 before Silksong came out. Not in its entirety. I want to do God Home when I can. And I have 100% completed Silksong in its entirety, right? I've also been playing Clover Pit. I like Clover Pit. Wish it had a lot more to do than just, you know, spin the wheel or something like that, you know? And I've also been playing Hades 1 in preparation for me playing Hades 2. I know that Hades 2 is already out, but like, I kind of want to play Hades 1 first before going to Hades 2. Those are the more recent games that I've been playing, but I'll probably throw in some other games that I've also played around the time. So yeah. What's your favorite abnormality? What's your favorite distortion? And what's your favorite faction from the city? I can easily answer that because I have a specific answer. It is Borrowing Heaven. I love the idea of Borrowing Heaven, and I really wish that this abnormality will eventually appear one way or another in Walpurgis and Limbus, right? So like, I can imagine a Borrowing Heaven Faust. Like, that would be very sick. Very, very sick. Ego. Distortions, either Distorted Myers, Yan, or Time Ripper. Either one of these three. I like these three distortions a bunch. As for factions, other than associations, because I've already answered that part, unironically, the new League of Nine. Yeah, despite me liking to call them frauds a bunch, all of them are pretty sick looking and are very, very cool in a way. Very interested to see more the other members other than just Jiahuan and Gubo. At least with their egos, right? I think it's just the egos that makes them look pretty sick. First exposure to Project Moon, at least what you may recall. I first was exposed to Project Moon like many years ago, like 2018, with Jacksepticeye playing through Lobotomy Corporation, the legacy version of Lobotomy Corporation. I was fascinated. It looked like such a cool game. I liked the monsters. Saw One Sin for the first time. It was sick back in the day. Now, jump a few years later, right? In 2020, you know, when the thing happened, I was reminded of that video. I didn't have a PC at the time, so I couldn't play it. So instead, I wanted to watch a playthrough of him in its entirety. So I eventually found an entire Sinvicta playthrough, watched through this in its entirety. It was very fun, and I wanted more. Then I figured that there was more to Lobotomy Corporation in the form of Library of Ruina. So instead of watching the entirety of Sinvicta, I decided to watch the entirety of Sunul's playthrough before it was unlisted. And then I played through Limbus, and here we are today. Yeah, I know you asked about like first exposure, but like might as well just tell the entire story of how I got to Project Moon. So yeah. What will you do when you move on from the Project Moon content? I like the way this question is worded, because this person is assuming that I'm eventually going to leave Project Moon forever. Oh no. And truth be told, yeah, eventually I will move on from Project Moon eventually, right? That's the truth of the matter, right? Like, I don't really want to stay in that on that one island of Project Moon forever, you know? I'll probably move on to other content eventually. But what will I do when I move on is kind of problematic, because I can't really think of what else I would do, at least as of yet. I'll probably figure that out as I continue that journey of content creation. But if there's one thing that I do hope that I want to do is more variety content, right? That would be very nice, I'd say. Name a few Flash games you love. Age of War, Sift Heads, and Duck Life. Those are 3 Flash games that I like a lot. Yeah, sure. What does Project Moon need? I haven't really thought about this question as important as I probably should. So like conviction, I guess, confidence, and I guess be proud of what they have accomplished. I haven't thought too deep on that, so like I'll probably come up with a better answer eventually. Now, this isn't the final question, but this is the last comment containing 8 fucking questions. Which, why the fuck would you do that? Like, the previous two were already multiple questions. Like, 3 questions to 4 questions. And then we got 8. Why? Whatever. Sure, I guess. Are there any YouTubers that inspire you? Yes. Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, and Daryl Talks Games, I guess. Yeah. Do you have any pets? Yes, I do. I have a cat named Onyx. He's a very cute, very cool little cat. And that's it. Do I watch anime or manga? And if so, are you watching or reading anything right now? I'm not really watching any anime right now, but I have just finished To Be Hero X, which that was a great watch. I loved it. Now I'm just waiting for season 2 of that when it comes out. But as far as manga concerns, I have recently started reading This Monster Wants to Eat Me. I've seen the Crunchyroll clip, was a little bit interested, figured out that the anime was coming out slowly but surely, so I decided, hey, why don't I just read the manga before a good amount of the anime is released. So yeah, and right now I'm at volume 7, and my god, it's actually pretty good. It's something interesting, it's something unique. I like it. If YouTube doesn't work out, where do you see yourself? I don't know. Putting fries in the bag, I guess. I don't know. Probably just working an average Joe job. Maybe, I guess. Least liked Sinner and Librarian, and most liked Sinner and Librarian. For Sinners, my least liked is, surprisingly, Ishmael. Unlike other Sinners, who has been slowly but surely expanded on with each and every intervallo and canto, Ishmael has kind of just stayed the same, which isn't too bad, right? I don't mind her dickish personality, right? I don't mind it at all. I just wish we got to see more of Ishmael's personality, right? Like, to give credit where credit's due, right? In the Shichen Intervallo, we did get to see a little bit of that, of her passion of adventure and journeys. I wish we get to see more of Ishmael than just her being a dick to Heathcliff, or anyone else for that matter. And that's it. I just want to see more of Ishmael. As for my most liked Sinner, it's gotta be either Faust or Ryoshu, or hell, even both. And now you see why I read those books. As for Librarian, I like all the librarians, so you know what? Fuck you. My least liked librarian is none of them. My most liked librarian are all of them. Take that, commenter. Are you gonna make a part 2 to your SCP video? Yes, I am. Out of all the other videos, this one is definitely one of the more popular ones. I just need to figure out when exactly I should make it. Are there any Abno videos you feel excited to make? Yeah, there are a few. Despite it being like, what, 2 months since I last made an Abno video, which, my god, I should probably get an abnormality video out eventually. But, the ones that I'm very excited to make are the Blue Star series, as in like Bluish Star, Star Luminary, Blue Star itself, the hospital abnormalities, you know, Nymph, Hydra, and all that. And I guess I also like White Knight and a couple other abnormalities that I can't really think of right now. Yeah. And the final question, so far, how do you feel about all this? Are you happy that you made your own community that will probably stay around you for a while? This is a very interesting and a very thoughtful question to ask, because by nature, I'm very doubtful, I guess. Not just in other things, but like in general, I am very doubtful of a lot of things, right? So like my first thought usually goes to, oh, this won't work, this will not work, right? Even right now, like I'm thinking, like, is this even worth it? Is this... But despite that kind of doubt that is always creeping up on me, the results speak for itself, right? So like we got to 5,000 subs, which is great. And one of my more fun videos that I've made, the Bad IDs videos, got to over 100k views, which, my god, like the results speak for themselves that it is working. It's just that a lot of my doubts just get in the way of what is actually happening, and it's the kind of doubt that just creeps up on you from time to time. But I should look at the results a little bit more and just think that I can do it. Walk with pride with what I've made, I guess. And also, like, despite me not interacting much with the community at all, I'm hoping that the community that I made is worth it, right? I hope it's a community that are willing to share their thoughts on their favorite things, which is nice, you know? But other than that, though, I guess all that I can really say is thank you again for 5k subs. I know it's quite corny of me to repeat the obvious, but hey, might as well, right? Either way, this is the end of the Q&A special, and I don't really know what else to add here, so bye.